Perfect reaction by Rainbow Dash there at the end. Oh yeah, first impressions. One thing I want to address before I go into the whole thing is that I had trouble with Pony State, and there were a few skippings, so I missed a few minutes when it kind of synchronized with the stream and it was like... Brrr! So yeah, I may have lost a minute or two while watching, but I guess I understood the overall concept of the episode. Another new episode, another new writer, at Valentine. Cutie Mark Crusader episode. It is not about them getting their cutie marks. Even the opposite. When Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon address them, oh, you don't have a cutie mark, how can you present Ponyville? They are like, what do cutie marks have to do with this? This was an amazing moment for me. It was really like, yes, yes, they develop. While we are on the topic of obsession about cutie marks, I loved the line by, I believe it was Silver Spoon, whatever, one of the two, like, but what were you supposed to do? We already called them blank flanks. Like, it's really like, what? They don't even know how to bully except calling them blank flanks. And it also once again made me think about, what is their obsession with this trio? I mean, this is getting creepy, like, ooh, even so it's completely fine to be next to the stage like the other ponies and watch openly. No, we stick it to the bushes and we observe the cutie mark crusaders from here. This is creepy, really. This is stalking, kind of. What I also liked about it, that it was a Scootaloo-centered episode. As I criticized my wishlist for season 4, that I don't really need any more Apple Bloom-centered episodes, because she, as the unofficial leader, protagonist, whatever, inside the CMC, had always a bit more of spotlight. She had even her own episodes, and she even had CMC episodes centered around her, like Cutie Pox. I really like that Scootaloo, especially Scootaloo, since she is still the most underdeveloped of the three, that Scootaloo got an episode in which she is the main character, the center protagonist, but the other two are not underplayed, like it was, for example, once again in Cutie Pox, where it was pretty much an Apple Bloom episode with the rest of the CMC being there as well. This time it was a true CMC episode centered around Scootaloo. We got our first song in season 4. I guess it was okay. It was like, oh, we have hearts strong as horses. There were some nice visuals in this, but in the end it was just a training montage with a lot of predictable gags that they actually do not train. I loved the moment with Snowflake. Totally freaks out and runs away because of a butterfly. God, this character is best character, but Snowflake is best horse. Pony, whatever. You know what I mean. Oh yeah, completely, by the way. Since I watched it live and saw the commercials as well, does anybody else think that all those dresses that were shown in the SueLily.com commercial for oh, there you can shop, all those dresses were ugly as hell? Honestly, who put their little girls into this ugly dresses? This is kind of traumatizing for life, if you ask me. Poor girls. Now about the overall development of the story. I have to say, I would say it was not bad. A few moments I were like, I'm not really sure if I like where this is going, but overall it took an interesting turn. It started out with them pretty much ruling the stage, but because Rainbow Dash tried to stay calm for once, if Rainbow Dash would have given her honest opinion like, awesome, then there wouldn't have been an opening for Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. They would have been like, hey, what are you talking about? I don't need to fly. Rainbow Dash already said it's awesome, so what ifs. Then we got this whole self-doubt issue with Scootaloo and flying. Kind of a ballsy move that they actually go this way. I mean, it is known fact that Lauren Faust never intended Scootaloo to be able to fly. That they actually do address this within the canon is kind of an impressive thing, I guess. It is pretty much talking about a handicap, but as Rainbow says to her, girl, it doesn't matter if you can fly or not, you are still awesome in your own way. And this, I guess, is somehow a real good lesson. Especially because Scootaloo beat herself up so much about her shortcoming in that regard. This episode is surprisingly deep, isn't it? Next thing, we have the reaction within the CMC. Scootaloo is so focusing on the fact that she needs to fly that she drags along the other two, and the other two are like, girl, we are exhausted and we have the feeling it's all about you. When I saw it the first time, I was already like, okay, we are giving Scootaloo a little bit much of the limelight with jumping through there with her scooter and everything, but as soon as they formed the pyramid with the three together, I was like, okay, never mind, I'm fine. It's still them, the three of them, and it's pretty well done with the whole balancing between the three races thingy. So it was understandable when they reached this point and were like, hey, it's all about you now, what about us? You don't need us anymore. And I think this was an interesting aspect that they actually addressed this kind of group dynamic, because so far the CMC, even when they were arguing, they still were this kind of unity. Here there was an actual split about this whole issue, and considering that I also wished for an episode in which one of them gets her cutie mark and therefore causes a shift in the dynamic of the group, I see this as a nice attempt in a similar direction. At the train station, Scootaloo went from being obsessed with herself to letting her shortcomings overpower her self-confidence, and she is actually like, girls, do it without me, I suck. And then, of course, because they all are very young and immature, they start arguing over this fact and split up for reals at this point. Rainbow drags the other two back and that they're making up, and Rainbow tells her that even though she's the Pegasus, it is not defining her as a pony that she can fly, that there is more to her. Well, then of course, in the end, they win the whole flag-carrying thingy, even though I actually would have liked to see what Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon did. I mean, they are both Earth ponies, they just wear those strange dresses, so what was their show? I actually would have liked to see this. Oh yeah, and talking about this, yes, this Equestria games get addressed. They were not just dropped, they seem to be a big issue which even takes place in more than one episode, because this was also just one episode building up to the games. I say the Equestrian games are the season's finale. This is my guess for this season, like with the book at the beginning of season 3 when I called it that Twilight would become an Alicorn. Let's see if I can do it again. The cheesy ending gag when Mrs. Harsh-Winnie is losing her self-control and everybody was laughing, 90s show ending, but they didn't let it end on this note. They moved one step further. They came through a whole episode where they did not only not obsess about it, but they actually addressed that this whole obsession thing has nothing to do with what they are trying to accomplish at the moment. And then at the end they fall back in their usual routine, but because Rainbow's expression like pretty much reflected my feeling at this very moment. And it is not this the children-like smirk. No, it is really like, oh god, they're doing it again. Somehow I feel understood at this point by the series. I would say a good episode, an interesting one. It's not as easy as with the last ones, as you'll probably see with all my serious face and stuff like this, that I am not really sure yet what to make of this episode. So comedy episodes are easier. When the comedy works, then you got a good episode, or the action works. This time it was very much about the interaction within the trio. Yeah, I really have to rewatch it. My first impression is that it is definitively not a bad one. How good it is, I really have to tell with a more focused view on the whole interaction and the stress the group is put in. But this episode gave me a lot I asked for. I asked for CMC not obsessing about cutie marks. I asked for not Apple Bloom in the focus. I asked for the return of the Equestria games. Well, this is 3 things I asked for, all in one episode. I think this is pretty awesome. This is AnY saying, see you soon.